Bonjour tout le monde, hello everyone, I'm so glad to see you today for another French vintage perfume review. I'm so glad to see you today, and yes, today we are going to talk about perfume, about iconic vintage perfume, you know, the most iconic vintage perfume out there. I'm so happy to talk about perfume today. I need perfume. I need to go back to this time of emotion. I need to talk about stories, history sometime with a big H. I need to smell all this beautiful perfume. So, you know, every time I need to dream, I need to smell perfume, and today it's one of these days where I need to smell, to dream, to go back to this time, to this beautiful time. And you know, perfume, every perfume has a soul, okay? Every perfume is, for me, is a live being. It has a little soul. It speaks to your emotion, to your heart also. So yes, today it's a day of talking about perfume and the most iconic perfume out there, and maybe one of these perfume might be your signature smell, your perfume. So let's start to talk about this beautiful perfume. Before talking about all this beautiful iconic perfume, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give me a lot of motivation to continue. Don't forget also to follow me on my social media, and you can also leave a comment below. I read every comment I receive and I try to respond to every of your comments. So let's now start to talk about the most iconic vintage perfume. The first one I'm gonna start with is a very iconic perfume. I think it's one of the most iconic perfume out there. It's also one of the top selling, probably one of the top selling in the world. It's a very beautiful perfume, very elegant, very delicate, and also it was the perfume of one of my favorite royal personality. She's famous, she was beautiful, she was the most beautiful princess for me. So the perfume I'm gonna talk about today is Quelques Fleurs by Houbigant. So it's a very iconic perfume. So I got the mini size. I did not got the original version, but I got the mini size of the new version. So look at just the packaging, how beautiful it is, like how elegant it is, how refined it is. So Houbigant, Quelques Fleurs in English means some flowers, if I translate literally. And you see also the packaging as the beautiful flower. It's really the signature of the perfume. As you can guess a little bit, this perfume is really a floral perfume. It's all about flowers, and especially one of my most favorite notes is white flowers. So it's a very white flowers perfume, very delicate. So it's a very delicate bottle, and like I'm gonna show you the small size of a bottle. So look at how beautiful it is. And the big size is exactly like that. Okay, maybe the cap might be a little bit different, but it's exactly like that. So the bottle is very beautiful, and it's like a flowers, you know, a flowers form, and you can see also the flower, pattern on the bottle. It's a very delicate bottle, very delicate perfume. It's a beautiful perfume, and it was also the perfume of the princess Diana, the princess, which is also one of my favorite, I'm gonna say, vintage icon. For me, Diana was really like the most elegant woman out there. Elegant, beautiful inside, beautiful outside. She was really an angel, and I love her style, to be honest. I love Princess Diana's style. And it was her favorite, one of her favorite perfume. So this perfume also is not only iconic because it was the favorite perfume of Princess Diana, but this perfume has really also transformed or revolutionized, I'm gonna say, the perfume industry or the perfume story, because it has a very special special notes, very special distinctive fragrance, and we're gonna talk more about it. But the perfume has been created in 1913, so 1913, 1913. It's a very old perfume, and it's, I'm gonna say, it's the first really white floral perfume. Okay, 1913, it's a time when perfumes start to be launched. You're gonna see the perfume from Coco Chanel. Every like big fashion house try to launch their own in-house perfume, and at that time it's really the trend is really for like floral perfume. So most of the time it's aldehyde perfume, but you have a new notes aside of aldehyde. So aldehyde is a very synthetic flower notes. It's the signature of Coco Chanel perfume, by the way. It's really the signature of a number 5. But you have another note. Aside of aldehyde, you have a note called fougère. Okay, it's a very green notes. And yeah, Houbigant really take this note of fougère and try to create the first white flower perfume in the market. So it's a very iconic perfume for that. You know, it's really the first white flower out there at that time. And yeah, very old perfume. So it's iconic because also of that. And it's this perfume is a blend of like white flowers, green note, fougère. So fougère, it's a very green flower note, very distinctive, and this note is going to inspire a lot of perfume since then. So we're gonna start to smell this beautiful perfume. So Houbigant Quelques Fleurs has really, you know, blend a lot of different floral fragrance. It's an expensive perfume because it has a lot of very high-end ingredients, and because it blends so much different flowers, there's probably more than, you know, 50 different flower notes in this perfume. It makes this perfume very expensive, very fancy. And to be honest with you, the first time I really smelled this perfume was in Bergdorf Goodman. Bergdorf Goodman, they used to smell this perfume. So I was in New York, I was hanging out in Bergdorf Goodman, which is also my favorite New York store, by the way. And I just hanging out and I saw this beautiful perfume at the corner. So at that time, you know, you have like the corner of Bergdorf Goodman perfume. It's really on like the not the first floor, but like the base, like yeah, the basement. Not the, yeah, it seems like the first floor for like in America. And they had a corner for perfume, and it was such a beautiful, you know, beautiful bottle that I had to try it. And I talked to the woman at that time, and she really introduced me this perfume. She explained to me that it's an iconic perfume, etc, etc. So the first time I smelled this perfume, for me, it was also in New York in Bergdorf Goodman. So it's make also more an iconic perfume for me. So let's start. Let's smell this perfume and let's describe the emotion of this perfume, and for which type of woman this perfume will suit the best. So right now I'm smelling coffee. I had my morning Italian coffee, and I'm glad I'm gonna put perfume. So let's start to smell this delicate perfume. Okay. I'm gonna rub a little bit. I don't like to rub it. There's no spray. This small size in a... Oh my god. This is a very delicate perfume. Very fancy, very elegant. This is definitely also a perfume for... definitely a summer perfume for me. this perfume, you can wear this perfume spring, summer, winter. This is a very, you know, all season perfume, so it's a very good perfume. The best perfume, you know, the best of the best perfume, usually they like, you know, you can wear this type of perfume all season. They're just timeless, they're intemporal, they are eternal. There's no like season for this perfume. Oh my god. It's a very, very delicate perfume. It's also a beautiful perfume for a wedding, to be honest, because it's such an iconic, and the white flowers are very, very present. So white flowers suits, you know, are the best perfume also for wedding, for marriage, for special occasion like that. I love this perfume. I love, and there's this very distinctive note where I'm gonna talk about more, but. And there is like also this fresh soap green notes in the back, which I really, really like. And which also makes this perfume really a good perfume for summer, because it's a very refreshing note. I love this perfume. So the first notes are very, very interesting of this perfume. So the first note are like green, okay? We are more into the green side, that's why it's also a very refreshing perfume and very good for the summer. I smell the bergamot, the lemon, the orange. I smell exactly, you know, this distinctive notes of this perfume. I smell the fougère, by the way. This perfume is built around white flowers and fougère, okay? So it makes this perfume extremely distinctive, and I really smell the fougère. Fougère, it's a very green note, okay? It's a note by itself, okay? Fougère, it's a very, very distinctive note, and a lot of perfume has been built around fougère, especially some masculine perfume, but it's also the base for a lot of green perfume. Oh my god. I love this perfume. I love this perfume. And the middle note of this perfume is really distinctive of Quelques Fleurs by Houbigant. I smell the jasmine, I smell the lilac, I smell the lily of the valley, I smell the rose. There's a small note of tuberose, but it's very, very small, so it's not that present. I smell the orchid. I smell the orchid. So that's why also I love this perfume, because it's a blend also of orchid, lily of the valley, jasmine, and there's very, very few perfume with orchid. Very few perfume on the market has really, you know, this note of orchid. And yes, orchids smells. Actually, when you buy an orchid, you don't smell an orchid. But this, when you really distill the orchid, there's a very, very distinctive smell, and it's one of the few perfume on the market with orchid. So that's why it's a very, very distinctive perfume. And if you love orchid, you're gonna love this Quelques Fleurs by Houbigant. Okay, and the base of the perfume are more like, we are more into a woody white flowers notes. I smell the musk. I still smell the orchid in the base, so that's why this perfume is very interesting for that. I smell the oak moss, the civet, the sandalwood, the amber, and a little bit of vanilla, but let me re-put it. That's why I love this perfume, because it has orchid in it. So if you are an orchid woman, you're gonna probably love this perfume for that. Yeah, the first note are very, very green. And I'm more in love of the base and the middle note of this perfume. I love this perfume. Okay, this perfume is going to be probably in my top 5, to be honest. This is a very delicate perfume, so I will probably wear this perfume for spring, summer. on a white poplin shirt, white cotton shirt. It's a very white perfume, even linen. I think this perfume going to develop very interesting on linen actually. This is a very, very, very elegant perfume. Let me tell you that this perfume is very, very elegant. There's a very interesting, like, yeah, fresh notes in the base, which makes this perfume super, super, like, very comfortable to wear during the summer. Yeah, it's definitely a perfume that you're gonna remember. Definitely you're gonna remember the woman, you're gonna remember this perfume. If you smell this perfume in the street or to someone, you're gonna definitely remember this perfume. It's always in my top 5, to be honest, and I'm going to think to buy one of these bottles. I love this perfume. I love it. So this perfume is very, very delicate. It's for a very elegant, very refined woman. I'm not gonna say that this perfume is really for someone in the 30s, 40s. It might be a little bit too sophisticated for a woman in her 20s, to be honest. But for 30s, it's a beautiful, beautiful perfume for someone in her 30s, 40s. And yeah, oh my god. There's something very, like, very unique in the middle and base notes. And I think it's definitely the orchid. It's definitely the orchid. And you know, orchid is a very elegant, sensual flowers. Very, very elegant, very sensual at the same times. Oh my god, this perfume is incredible, incredible. And I suggest you to really to really check, you know, the big bottle, because the big bottle is extremely beautiful. And yeah, it might be, I think it is gonna be my next purchase, because I'm looking for a very white flowers. You know, I love white flowers perfume, so I'm looking for a next one, probably a substitute of my Van Cleef & Arpels perfume, and I think this one is perfect. Well, yeah, definitely. So Houbigant, Quelques, Fleurs, very, very iconic, very elegant perfume for sure. So the next one is also similar, probably in the family of white flowers. So it's also a white flower perfume. It's also an iconic perfume, extremely iconic, because it was also a royal perfume. It was this perfume has been worn by someone, also another princess, a different style, okay, a different princess with a different style. But it's also, you know, it's also one of the favorite perfume of another princess, and it has been created for her actually. It has been created specially for her for a wedding actually, and it remains a very iconic, very, very elegant perfume. It's different. We're gonna compare to Houbigant actually. So this one is Fleurissimo by Creed. So I got a sample actually. I got a little sample, but the bottle also is extremely elegant. It's extremely beautiful. So Creed is also a very, very famous, a very iconic brand. So Creed was a family perfumer, and it has been created in 1760. Could you believe it? 1760. It's one of the oldest perfume brand in the market, one of the oldest, not the oldest, but one of the oldest. And Creed, it's, you know, it's such a famous, iconic brand. And this one is not so much well known. Okay, there's one perfume by Creed that everybody is wearing it. It's a men perfume actually, so every time I ask for a man, what are you wearing, they tell me Creed, so it's too bad. But this one is not really well known, and it's you know, very few women who know about this one, and very few women who wear this one, and I think it's interesting. I don't like to present to you, you know, like I like very niche perfume, very unique, very vintage, that not everybody is wearing this perfume. I like when everybody is very different and when I wear something very unique, okay? I don't like to wear the same thing that my neighbor is wearing. So same thing with perfume. I don't like to present to you, you know, perfume that everybody is wearing. So this one is not really a well-known perfume, and it's too bad because it's an iconic perfume and might be your next signature perfume. So this perfume has been created specially for Grace Kelly, which is another iconic princess, another very elegant woman, extremely elegant. Grace Kelly, for me, it's really one of these women that doesn't not exist anymore. You know, they're so elegant, so chic. She was really a glamorous princess. And this perfume has been created for a wedding. She wanted a very special, very unique perfume. And when she got married in 1956, so it's a very 50s, I'm gonna say 50s, 60s perfume. And yeah, she wear this perfume for a wedding. So it's a very also wedding day perfume, I'm gonna say, but this perfume can be also wear like an everyday. It's also an everyday for me perfume. And it's also a white flowers perfume because just by the name, you know, Fleurissimo, if I translate, it's a little bit of Italian. Fleurissimo, it's all about like flowers. It's an Italian adjective for flowers. So it's a very, very white flowers, and you know that for me the most elegant perfume are white flowers. There's no like, you can't argue about it. The most elegant, most feminine perfume are white flowers perfume, and this one is very, very unique, very, very distinctive, and it's gonna be interesting to compare with Houbigant, okay, because it's another white flowers perfume. But it's interesting to compare the two actually, and which one I'm gonna prefer, okay? So let's try in my skin. Let's try a little bit on my skin. Very old perfume too, very iconic brand. I want to try more. Okay, let's rub. Yeah, it's different. It's different. It's very different compared to Houbigant. Oh la la. Oh my gosh. Oh la 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 la. It smells very, very good. Okay, all this iconic perfume today, it's like, it's dreaming. It's like we are smelling dreams today. Dreams. So remember, you know, you remember the wedding of Grace Kelly. Okay, remember how beautiful this wedding was, how unique, and you know, she was wearing this extremely long train, you know, long wedding voile behind here in a massive Monaco church. And this perfume is extremely extremely elegant, but it's a very I'm gonna say very impressive white flowers. So it's a wedding perfume for sure, but it's a very impressive white flower, meaning that you can really smell. If you smell this perfume in the street or in someone, it's a very, very confident white flowers, okay? This perfume is extremely strong, I'm gonna say. It's extremely strong, extremely present, very elegant. Oh my god, it's different than Houbigant because the Houbigant it's all about fougère and orchid. This one does not have the green notes, so there is no green notes in this one. So if you look pure, I think the word is that for this one, it's really purity. And Grace Kelly, she was extremely pure. She was a pure soul, okay? She was extremely pure. And this perfume is pure white flowers. Houbigant has more fougère, more orchid. There's something very green at the same time in Houbigant. This one, it's pure white flowers and it's a very creamy, pure white flowers. It's like let's say I have like a pot of cream and I just take the spoon and I smell this creamy white flowers blend. It's very creamy, very pure, very white. It's how I picture it. Definitely a summer spring, more a summer spring perfume. And I will not wear this perfume for winter. So let me describe the notes and after I will picture what I smell exactly. But for me it's a very creamy white flower. It's like a yogurt, white flowered yogurt and very pure. It's pure even in the notes. There is no mix of light green notes, fougère. Fougère, it's a very soapy green notes. It's very pure. So the first notes are extremely white. I think, you know, the first notes, the base and the middle and the base are pure white flowers with different type of white flowers. So in the first note, I really smell the ylang-ylang, the aldehyde, the neroli, the bergamot. In the middle note, I smell the iris, the jasmine, the rose, the orris fruit, the lily of the valley. And you know how much I love the lily of the valley. Lily of the valley is called muguet in French, and muguet for me it's extremely probably the most elegant white flowers with orchid. Orchid is extremely elegant. Lily, I love lilac. Lilac is also one of my favorite flowers, but muguet or lily of the valley is for me it's my top white flowers. If I have one white flowers I will take, it's lily of the valley. And you know we have a French tradition in France for the 1st of May. Usually you buy one of these lily of the valley bouquet, you know, bouquet bottle. It's one of the French tradition. It's bring you luck for the 1st of May. It's beautiful, and you know, lily of the valley, if you put lily of the valley in your room, in your kitchen, which I do in Paris by the way, I always have a bottle of lily of the valley. It smells everywhere in your apartment and anywhere in your house. It's even more powerful than lilac actually. And you know how it smells super good. Lilac smells very good, but it's like it's an effluve of white flower in all of your apartment. I strongly suggest you to buy, if you can, ask to your fleurist, okay, if you're local florist, ask him or ask her a bouquet of lily of the valley, because it's the best natural fragrance. You can really like, if you put that in your house, in your apartment, and it's so elegant, I swear. And not a lot of people do that actually, so it's very unique. Okay, yeah, and the base. And I think I'm really in love of the base of this perfume. Really in love of the base. And the base for me is incredible good. Incredible. The base of this perfume is a dream. We're smelling dream today. We're really smelling dream. So I smell the civet. So it's a very animalic white flowers. That's why it's very enchantress. It's a very you really captivate by this perfume. Okay, if you smell a woman with this perfume, you want to follow her. Okay, you want to follow her. You want to know her name. You want to know her name, you want to follow her, you just want to follow her because you want to smell her perfume. I love this perfume. So it's the civet, the amber, a little bit of sandalwood, which we give more intensity to the white flowers. I smell the moss, the vetiver a little bit, and the patchouli. The patchouli. That's why the patchouli gives more intensity to the white flowers. Otherwise, it's too like it's too. If there's no patchouli with white flowers, it does not bring any intensity and it's not give any depth to the white flowers. So the sillage of this perfume is strong. It's very, very strong. But if I smell this perfume in the street, I want to follow the woman. I want to follow this woman. I want to know her name. Oh my god, the sillage is incredible. So between the two, actually between Houbigant and Fleurissimo, I think I prefer Fleurissimo. Because probably on my skin, Fleurissimo has more depth on my skin than Houbigant. Yeah. And Houbigant has more green fougere note, while Fleurissimo is a pure white floral. It's very pure. Like I said, I picture a cream of white flowers, which is a dream. It's a dream. Oh yeah, and Fleurissimo has really something so pure, so innocent, so like it's a very glamorous, pure white flower perfume. And I think on a shirt, on a beautiful cotton shirt, this perfume is really perfect. Perfect. Okay, this is my next, actually my next purchase was going to be Fleurissimo, to be honest with you. And you know, now I'm smelling the base of the two because now, you know, time has passed and Houbigant has developed differently on my skin, which is super interesting. And on my skin, Houbigant, the fougere of Houbigant is a little bit more present. So the green notes are more present on my skin right now. And I just prefer the white flowers. You know what I mean? I really prefer the white flowers notes. Oh my god, yeah. Fleurissimo is a dream. It's a dream of white flowers, and I can tell that if I smell that on the streets, and I'm pretty sure smelling Fleurissimo is pretty rare. So just for that, I want to buy this perfume and wear this one. Okay, Fleurissimo is my next purchase for sure. Next purchase, and probably my next signature perfume. Because I love white flowers, and usually when I don't know what to wear, or I don't have, you know, I just want to smell very, very good and I want to be super elegant, I go for a white flowers perfume. I don't really think twice or think, you know, I go for white flowers, and I think this perfume is perfect. It's a really, really good one. Okay, the next one is also a very interesting perfume, very interesting, and now we're gonna talk about like an iconic oriental. I think an iconic oriental, which has really it's probably one of the first, not the first oriental, French oriental, but this perfume has really transformed the oriental, French oriental perfume, probably, and I think it was the purpose of this, when it has been created, it was really to transform the idea of oriental perfume. French women don't wear oriental perfume. It's not what French women are going to wear. French women are more into white flowers, aldehyde, rose perfume. So it's not a typical French fragrance of French notes. But the purpose, when this perfume has been created, the purpose of this perfume was really to make French, you know, to make a French oriental perfume. Really, like, you know, to really embrace, to make French women embrace oriental perfume. And it's really, it was really the purpose of this perfume. So this perfume is Opium by Yves Saint Laurent. Opium by Yves Saint Laurent. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the story of this perfume. So by the way, Yves Saint Laurent is my favorite is my favorite with Coco Chanel, is one of my favorite you know, fashion designer. For me, Yves Saint Laurent, Coco Chanel, they're not designer, they're artists. They really create and transform the fashion history for like forever. But Yves Saint Laurent is in my heart. Yves Saint Laurent, Coco Chanel, for me, they're really like, they're my favorite fashion creator, fashion artist. And I still buy vintage Yves Saint Laurent, meaning I don't buy regular, you know, the new Saint Laurent. I don't buy new Saint Laurent. I buy vintage Yves Saint Laurent because I think when Yves Saint Laurent died, probably the fashion house died with him, because he was so strong. He had such an idea, an iconic idea, a new idea about fashion, that completely, when he died, the fashion house died with him, and he really transformed the woman closet. He gave really power to woman, and you know, smart is sexy, and he really like, when I think about Yves Saint Laurent, I think about the smoking, and I wear smoking. Usually I wear dress, but I also love beautiful smoking. Beautiful white smoking for women. It's like, for me, it's the most elegant outfit. A very beautiful woman smoking. The blues, you know, organza, silk blues, it's very elegant. The Saharian, it's another piece, Yves Saint Laurent piece. He introduces such a glamorous fashion piece for women. So when I think about Yves Saint Laurent, I really think about the femme fatale, okay? The femme fatale of the 70s, the 80s, and probably the best time of Yves Saint Laurent was in the 70s and the 80s. Probably the 80s. 70s started, but the 80s for Yves Saint Laurent was his best time ever. And let's talk about this perfume. But you know, Yves Saint Laurent, it's like, for me, it's my favorite fashion artist, and I really still buy vintage Yves Saint Laurent. So this perfume, you know, Yves Saint Laurent, it's all about novelty. He really wanted to transform fashion, and he also transformed the perfume for women. He really introduced new notes, new fragrance. And the idea of Saint Laurent was pretty much to make French women embrace Oriental, because like I said, it's not a typical smell for French women. French women are not really into Oriental, they are more into white flowers, rose, regular flowers. And the idea of Saint Laurent was to make the Parisian woman wear Oriental notes. And this perfume has been created in 1977, so it's a 70s, 80s perfume. And it was at the same time in launch really his first, I'm gonna say, Oriental collection. He was inspired by the Chinese fashion, so it was his most famous Oriental collection with Chinese pattern, a lot of silk, a lot of blues. He went to China also, and he was really inspired by China. So Yves Saint Laurent was really inspired by China, and I think it was on purpose, because when you think about Oriental, you think probably about Middle East, you think about Morocco, Middle East. And for Yves Saint Laurent, Oriental for him was more a Chinese inspiration, so he went to China and he launched his very first I'm gonna say very Oriental, very and it was especially a very outrageous collection. One of the most famous pieces of this collection is also when Naomi Campbell was wearing a green fur coat. She was naked and she only had this very green big fur coat. It was very outrageous at this time, and he wanted to make a very outrageous, very shocking perfume, okay? Yves Saint Laurent is a very sexy, outrageous, but it's a smart sexy. It's not the sexy, it's not the vulgar, it's never vulgar with Yves Saint Laurent. I think it's the only designer when you can see a naked, you know, naked woman or woman with like a breast, you can see the breasts, and she was wearing a very transparent transparent blues. It's the only designer we can make that. Wearing that, a woman, she has only a transparent blues and she's still sexy and she's still very elegant. Only Yves Saint Laurent can do that. So you can tell that this perfume is probably also one of the most elegant oriental out there. It's not something I wear, to be honest. It's more my mother perfume. My mother loves this one. She's wearing this one. But it's not something I personally wear, but it's an iconic perfume, French perfume, and a lot of French women wear this one. It really became the most iconic oriental perfume for sure. Because of this story and because of all this background. So let's start to smell this beautiful perfume. So it's a very amber oriental, and I will suggest to go to the vintage version because this perfume has been reformulated many times, and probably the vintage version is probably more interesting because as the vintage version has probably more depth, more intensity, because remember at that time Yves Saint Laurent really wanted to shock with this oriental perfume. Opium, just by the name. And the vintage version, by the way, the bottle of the vintage bottle is extremely beautiful. It has this vintage cap with a silky pompon, this red pompon, and probably a little, a little spray like that, very vintage spray. So the vintage bottle is even more beautiful. I saw some of them on eBay, so if you're really a fan of this perfume, I will suggest you to buy one of these beautiful vintage bottles just because of the bottle and also the smell. The smell is probably extremely more intense than the new reformulated version. And Opium, so just the name of Opium. So Opium is the name of this, very Chinese opulent drugs, okay? When you smoke opium, you think also about Balzac. Balzac is also a French writer who we are talking a lot about opium in his books. I think a lot about opium, about Balzac, and it was the drugs of French writer, French artist in the 19th century. It was really the drugs of now we have over one, but a lot of French writers, a lot of French artists were smoking opium. So I really think about Balzac, who translates a lot. He talks a lot about this drug in his books. It's a very chic, very elegant, very elegant name, by the way, very shocking. But I love this one. So let's spray this one. So I'm gonna spray my other hand actually. Let's put some perfume so you can see. So don't rub for a new. I don't rub for this version. Oh, yeah. So it's a very, very 70s perfume. Not 80s. For me, 80s have a different notes, different character, different personality. But this one is very 70 for me. There's this powdery, this 70 powdery smell, very, very characteristic. I smell the aldehyde, by the way. There's pretty much aldehyde, but it's very oriental, very French oriental, meaning it's super elegant. So for me, this perfume is much more a winter perfume than a summer one. It's also a very good night perfume, and it's more for a sophisticated, confident, mature woman, very sophisticated. It's more for me a perfume for someone in the 40s, 50s, you know what I mean? Very sophisticated, very confident, very mature woman. And if you love red color, I think this perfume is really for a red woman. If you love red, if you love to wear red, I personally prefer to wear blue and white. But if you love this very warm, in-depth colors, a red shirt, a red blouse, if you love to wear red lipstick, this perfume is red. I picture something very warm, very spicy. It's a very warm, spicy, passionate perfume, and very good date or night perfume, by the way. So I smell the first note are very spicy, by the way. I smell the mandarin, the pepper, the plume, the orange, the jasmine, the West Indian spices, the coriander. I love coriander, by the way. I love as a spicy. It's a very interesting one I use in my kitchen. The middle notes are very, very interesting. We are more into a powdery, this very Yves Saint Laurent powdery smell. So I smell the cinnamon, the rose, the sandalwood, a lot of patchouli, by the way, which make this perfume very oriental for that. A little bit of lily of the valley, but it's not that so present. I smell the peach. And okay, and now I smell the base of this perfume, which is super oriental and very Yves Saint Laurent. Okay, very, very Yves Saint Laurent. I smell the myrrh, the vanilla, the musk, the incense. So every perfume with incense are very, very strong, very present. Remember, one of these very incense perfume is Magie Noire. So one of these very incense perfume is Magie Noire, by the way. But Magie Noire is a very intense, I think it's one of the strongest perfume I've ever smelled in my life. Magie Noire, which is it's a very, like, very 70 perfume, by the way. I smell the oponax, the amber, the sandalwood, the benzoin and incense, you know, very oriental. Yeah, let me spray like that in the room. I want to smell the soul of this perfume, like l'âme de ce parfum. I really want to smell, you know, the emotion. I can picture the woman, I can picture the dream, I can picture, you know, how to wear this perfume. It's not a perfume I will wear personally because it's not my, it's not me, but this very powdery Yves Saint Laurent powdery smell. I used to wear a lot of Yves Saint Laurent perfume when I was a student in Paris. So I used to wear Champagne, which became Ivresse by Yves Saint Laurent, which is also one of my favorite perfume ever. I used to smell Paris by Yves Saint Laurent. I used to smell another one, you know, like a toupee. Paris, which smells super good. There's another one I used to wear a lot. I had few Yves Saint Laurent perfume. I had a face for Yves Saint Laurent perfume, but Opium was not in my face, Yves Saint Laurent face. But because this perfume is more for a more mature woman, and it has this very powdery, you know, vintage smell. Super interesting. Yeah, I really picture someone who love to wear red and very warm color, and it has this very strong vintage smell I like. This is a very good French oriental perfume, very good oriental, and it's my mother perfume. She still loves this perfume. She loves to wear this perfume. So probably this bottle, I'm gonna give this bottle to my mother because I don't wear Opium. It's not me, it's not my personality, but I think it's a very French oriental perfume in that way that it's not loud, it's not heavy. It's a very Yves Saint Laurent type character, very sexy, very elegant, you know. This perfume is a very good perfume on a very silk blues Yves Saint Laurent, you know, with a tie. It's a very night perfume. Okay, if you want to transform yourself, if you want to be like this femme fatale, this perfume is for you. It's a very night date perfume, very interesting vintage French oriental perfume. Okay, the next one is also very different. It's a very different type of perfume. It's also one of the most iconic French perfume ever. A lot of when you ask about this perfume, it's interesting because a lot of American women know about this perfume and wear this perfume. It's also wear by a lot of French women. A lot of French women wear this one. And it's the most iconic perfume because This perfume is really in the French history, French culture. It's the typical, I'm gonna say, French teenager perfume by the way, and it became this iconic smell, iconic smell. So this perfume is, and you know about this one, is Anaïs by Cacharel. Okay, Cacharel. Look at this beautiful bottom with this flower. Love this bottle. So the first time I smell this perfume, it's super interesting, and I have a story about this one. So I was probably around 12 years old, 11 years old, and I was at my aunt's house. Unfortunately, one of their daughter passed away very young, at 20 something. She had a car accident and she died. And my aunt, she was a very beautiful woman, you know, very beautiful woman, tragic death, you know. And my aunt used to keep her room intact, because I think it was when you lost a child, it's a very difficult moment, and she used to keep her room intact with all her makeup, her powder, everything was intact. It was a very beautiful French room with flowers, and she used to put also fresh flowers every day in her room. And she was I remember this room because I entered in the room. It was so beautiful, and the perfume I saw in this room, it was a big bottle of Anaïs by Cacharel. A really big beautiful bottle with the vintage, very vintage spray. It was a beautiful bottle. And she also had the powder, so a powder of Anaïs by Cacharel, and it was such a beauty. And I picture the woman. She was extremely beautiful, you know, very French, long brown hair, long brunette with very French beautiful face. And this perfume, you know, there's no French woman who don't know about this one. It's such an iconic perfume because when it has been introduced, I think it really became the perfume of all the teenager at that time. Okay, it's a 70 perfume. This perfume has been launched in 1978, so it's a 70s perfume. And every French girl in Paris at that time, who had like probably 20, 25, even 30, were wearing this one. So it became really a generational perfume. All these French girls, all this generation of the 70s used to wear this perfume, Anaïs by Anaïs, because it's such a French, just by the name, you know, Anaïs, beautiful name, very French. It's a flower and also blend of white flowers perfume, so it's also very French, like I said, very French notes, very French fragrance. And it became really a legendary perfume. That's why it's such an iconic perfume, and there's still a lot of French women wear this perfume. And probably when you are in your 20s, you want to wear this one. It's really remember the purity, the innocence, these delicate French flowers. And the bottle it's really unique. The bottle did not change. The perfume has been reformulated a little bit, but you still can find the original smell. So it's super interesting, and I love this perfume. I don't wear this one because I have I'm very particular when it comes to smell. I'm very different. But it's really an iconic and beautiful perfume. So let's start to wear this one. It's really fresh, very delicate. The bottle is beautiful, and it's a white flower, French flower blend. So very French. Let's start to. So I got the vintage version, by the way. So it's the original version I have. So I'm glad I can describe to you this perfume. Yeah, I have the vintage smell, very vintage. So usually vintage perfume, you don't smell, because vintage perfume age, it's like a wine. Compare vintage perfume to a bottle of wine. A bottle of wine, a vintage bottle of wine age differently and the notes are very different. It's exactly the same with perfume. And vintage perfume, usually you don't smell the top or the middle note, you smell directly the base of the perfume, and the base has age, so some notes, some depth are very more present. It's very different. Yeah, I smell the base of this perfume and it's very interesting. So the top notes, if you buy this perfume, if you buy a regular bottle, you're gonna smell the hyacinth, the orange blossom, the galbanium, so probably some green fresh flower. The middle, it's very much in the white flowers. This is a white flower perfume with fresh notes, so green notes probably on the top. You're gonna smell in the middle the jasmine, the lily, the rose, a lot of rose. And the base is a little bit oriental on the base to give more depth in this white flowers note. So you can smell the sandalwood, the amber, the cedar, the incense. So, you know, perfume with incense, they have really this characteristic, you know, it's very distinctive. When you smell the incense of this perfume, it gives a lot of depth, okay, a lot of depth. Yeah, it's a very classic French smell, I'm gonna say, very classic, a blend of, you know, all these flowers, white flowers, rose, a little bit of sandalwood. It might be a little bit too classic for me, a little bit too classic. I love very different vintage perfume, you know, with something that, oh, you never smelled that before, or you don't smell that usually. It might be a little bit too classic, but it's a very iconic perfume. Yeah, very iconic, too classy for me. Too classy. Too classy. Anaïs is too classy. But very French. Very French smell, very typical. And you got this vintage smell, which I really like. I really like the vintage smell of some perfume, and Anaïs is one of them, because it's not soapery. It's not the grandma smell. By the way, vintage perfume may never smell like a grandma. Don't say that. They never smell. The base of the perfume is more intense. So when you wear vintage perfume, you don't need to spray a lot, because there's more intensity, more depth, and the sillage is pretty much intense. So that's why I prefer sometimes vintage perfume, because I don't need to spray a lot, just a few of my vintage perfume, and I'm sure everybody's going to smell it. Yeah, it might be a little bit too classy for me. But the next one I'm going to present to you is also a perfume I prefer and I wear. This is, I buy personally this perfume and I wear this perfume. And I prefer the next one compared to Anaïs and Anaïs. And it's someone who mentioned this one in the comments, and I was very intrigued. And I decided to try, and I fall in love with this one. So it's also a perfume by Cacharel. Cacharel have really launched a lot of iconic French perfume. I think they really, you know, mark a generation of French women. They really mark French women, and this generation of the 70s, 80s, and everybody was wearing in Paris at that time this perfume. So the next one is Loulou. Loulou by Cacharel, and I prefer this one, and I'm gonna tell you why I prefer this one. And look at just the bottle, okay? There's a lot of story about this perfume. The story is extremely interesting, and the smell is, for me, much more interesting and much more me. But look at the bottle. My two favorite color. So a cold blue, a very cold blue, and a very dark, very red one. I love red. I always wear red on my nails, okay? And I love in-depth red. I love the very dark red. I love vintage red. We call it vintage. I love vintage red. I think it's extremely beautiful, and it was also one of the favorite color of Coco Chanel. Coco Chanel used to love this vintage red. You know, when you open a Chanel bag, you don't have this very flashy red. You have this very aged, very red wine. And yeah, it's very elegant, and two of my favorite color in this bottle. And it's not only that, but the story about this perfume and why this perfume has been created is extremely interesting. So this perfume has been created in 1987. So this is a 80s perfume, and you know how much I love 80s and 90s when it comes to perfume and fashion. And it's one of the top selling perfume in the 80s. And this perfume has been created, this perfume has been inspired by the one of the most iconic movie of all time. It's called Loulou. And it was one of the movie of the 20th century, so called Jack the Ripper. And Jack the Ripper, in this movie, there's a woman called Loulou. And this woman, she's pure, she's very seductive, she's pure, she's innocent, she's a little bit naive, and she's also very seductive. And she's going to meet Jack the Ripper, and Jack the Ripper is going to kill her. And the nose behind this perfume, was inspired by this movie called Loulou. It's a 2020 movie, very iconic. So if you can purchase this vintage version online, you can find it. And so also the bottle, you know, these two colors are also inspired by this movie. The blue color represents the innocence, the certain form of purity. I love blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors. And this dark red, very aged vintage red represents, you know, the passion, the seduction, the sin. And yeah, Loulou, just by the name, Loulou is so French. It's so French, and it's also the name of one of my favorite places also in Paris. I love to have drink there. I love it. I love this. So it's a very iconic, and I love the story behind this perfume. I love it. Two of my favorite colors. And the smell is amazing. It's really, I think it could be my day-to-day perfume. Easy. So let's smell this perfume. I'm gonna put this perfume on my arm, actually. So same thing, I got the vintage version. I just buy the vintage version. So, and this perfume also has been reformulated twice. So I also suggest you to buy the 80s vintage version, because probably there's more depth and the base is probably much more present. Yeah, I definitely prefer Loulou compared to Anaïs, definitely. Because there's something that very distinctive, very unique, less basic. Anaïs, but Cacharel for me is a little bit too basic. And oh my god, I love this perfume. I love this perfume. So it's definitely for a woman with a lot of intensity, a very passionate woman, a very young. Loulou, just by the name Loulou, I love it. This perfume is built around a very interesting French flower, and it's also, there's not a lot of perfume. Not a lot of perfume has built around this flower. So this flower is tiare, Fleurs de tiare. So you find this flower in Monoi, for example. So it's a French flower who only grew up in Tahiti, a very, a French island. Tahiti, and no, there's not a lot of perfume built around this flower called tiare. Not a lot, and not a lot smell like, usually if you buy this type of perfume, it's much like a cologne. A cologne, something very, you know, it's not really a perfume. Very few perfume on the market like that. So that's why it's very unique. And if you love Monoi, if you love Tiare scent, if you love this Monoi scent, you're gonna love Loulou. You're gonna love for that because the Tiare flower is very present. And because I buy the vintage version, the Tiare flower is even more, you know, intense. There's even more depth with this flower. And by the way, I love Monoi. I use Monoi a lot during the summer. I used to use Monoi also on my hair, you know, and I love this smell. Usually my summer smell, you know, the smell I used to love to use during the summer are like coconuts and Monoi. Vanilla and Tiare. It's my favorite, you know. Every summer I used to go back in my beauty routine to this type of smell. I used to go back to coconut oil, Tiare flower, Monoi. It's the product I used to love, especially also for the perfume. So yeah, it's a very dark red flower smell, very intense, and it's a very French, I love this perfume. So the top notes are very present, very intense still. It's a very intense perfume. So the top notes are violet, plume. I smell also a little bit of magnolia. The base note, the middle note, sorry. So in the middle note, you're gonna find the Tiare, by the way. So you smell tuberose, ylang ylang, the Tiare flower. And in the base, you really smell this Tiare flower, very present. I smell the orris, the tonka bean, the vanilla, the Tiare flower. Yeah, the smell is unique. To be honest, I don't think I ever smell a perfume like that. So that's why I smell this. It makes this perfume super interesting for me. I love perfume like that. You know, I love perfume with very different kind of notes. Yeah, I picture this French woman, a little bit fancy, elegant, but with this like very edgy look, a little bit of vintage. I love this perfume. This perfume is easily mine, could be easily mine to be honest, but I'm not gonna say I'm gonna wear this perfume day to day. Fleurissimo, it's more for me. Fleurissimo by Creed will be more a day-to-day perfume because it's timeless, classy. You know, there's no like, I can wear this perfume all the time and it will make definitely, like everybody's really agree that it smells super good. But this one is more like for a pretty much a night perfume in Paris when I want to hang out in very special place, or if I feel I'm very playful, you know, I want to play a little bit. It's like champagne. When I used to wear champagne by Yves Saint Laurent, it's when I used to go out, hang out with friends. I also used to wear champagne day to day, but because the smell is so unique, so different. But because I love Tiare, I love this perfume. It smells very good. Very good perfume and very iconic. And yes, it's a very 80s perfume. Very 80s, very sensual, very classy, very sexy. It's a very sexy, and I love the bottle. Look at that. Look how beautiful it is. Okay, the next one is probably the most iconic perfume, the best bestseller in the world, best-selling perfume in the world. Everybody know about it, but I don't think, you know, I don't think it's that rare, and it's too bad because, you know, there's a lot of people who buy it because you have to get this perfume in your bathroom. But when you ask, usually it's not like the most like wearing perfume actually, but I like to wear this one, and I'm gonna say how and when I wear this one. And yeah, no need to present, but I'm gonna talk about more like probably the story of this perfume. So you probably, you know, of course, know this one, number 5 by Chanel. And this year was the anniversary, the 100th century of the number 5 by Chanel. It's really the anniversary of this perfume. So also same thing with this one. I will recommend also to go to a vintage version. I already start to look on online, you know, some of the vintage version on number 5, because this perfume has been also reformulated, and I think the vintage version for this one is even more interesting because, you know, aldehyde is very synthetic. Aldehyde is a very it's a synthetic flower, so this perfume is built around aldehyde. Coco Chanel wanted to try a new perfume. She wanted to create something completely new, and at that time all the perfume before Coco Chanel was created around natural flowers, so most of the time it was rose white flowers. And Coco Chanel was such a modern woman, and she said, no, I want a new flower, and I want something new, I want something nobody ever smelled. And the nose, you know, her nose said, okay, if you want a new flower, let's create a new one, and it's gonna be a synthetic flower. So aldehyde is a synthetic flower. You know, the smell of aldehyde, you're not gonna find aldehyde out there in your garden. It's completely synthetic, and it has been created, you know, synthetically in a laboratory. So I think because aldehyde is synthetic, it's even more interesting to really smell something which really aged like aldehyde, and probably it's more intense, more depth. Probably because this perfume really has a fresh soapy smell, which was also, you know, the purpose of Coco Chanel. We're gonna talk about it. But probably the soapy smell has a different kind of like note. It's probably more depth, more intense. So I start to look out there for very, very old vintage version. I find a very interesting bottle from the 50. I can go that old, like 20 would be even super expensive, but 50 it's already like a good bottle, good aged bottle. But we're gonna go over the story of this perfume, the smell, and everything, and how I wear and when I wear this perfume, because I wear this perfume for sometimes special occasion, when special moods, special things. So like I said, the purpose of Coco Chanel was really to create a new type of perfume. Okay, Coco Chanel was extremely modern woman at that time. She really wanted to break the rules, break the code, and the way she see perfume, it's super interesting. So she has a motto, and which is so mine actually. She used to say, une femme sans parfum n'a pas d'avenir, which means in English, if I translate, a woman without perfume has no future. And for Coco Chanel, perfume is part of your dressing code. You have to wear perfume. If you go out, you have to wear perfume. It's like you wearing jewels or jewelry. It's part of your look actually, and I think it's more than that. I think perfume is also a way to really express the soul, your soul, who you are, and it's you smell it, you don't talk. And sometimes in life, the best thing in life with a lot of emotion, there's no words, just you look someone, look at in the eyes, or you smell it. And Coco Chanel knew that, and she really wanted to try a new type of perfume, something that never been done before, never smell. So she decided to go for a new flower and not a natural one called aldehyde. So this perfume is really built around aldehyde. And the story said that the nose behind this perfume made a mistake when he created the perfume. He put too much aldehyde, a little too much, and he didn't see that. And when he presented the perfume to Coco Chanel smelled it, and she said, "This is it. I love it." And you know the story. Sometimes the best thing in life happen by mistake. Sometimes the best thing in life happens by mistake. and it's really what happened with the perfume. This perfume actually was a mistake, and it became the best seller in the world, and the most iconic perfume in the world, the most iconic one. It's also iconic because it has been also wear by the actress, you know, Marilyn Monroe. At that time, Coco Chanel, you know, this perfume was extremely popular. Not popular because only this perfume was designed by for really wealthy women in Paris, but it was extremely it was a great success among the Parisian, very luxury Parisian woman. And Chanel wanted to really extend the perfume. She wanted really to conquer the American market. And yeah, Marilyn Monroe fell in love with this perfume, and you know, she used to say, I only go in bed with only one drop of, I only wear Coco Chanel when I go to bed. And it became, you know, this perfume, the expression of the seduction, of the elegance. Coco Chanel used to wear this perfume also all the time. It was her perfume. And the story about this perfume is like, it's super interesting, how she created, how this perfume really transformed the story of perfume, because after this one, a lot of perfume has, a lot of French perfume has really incorporated aldehyde. Aldehyde really became the French smell. A lot of perfume, flower perfume use aldehyde. They use white flowers, so natural white flowers, but they also use a lot of aldehyde. And yeah, it really transformed, you know, transformed the perfume industry forever, and it really became the emblem of the French perfume. And Coco Chanel also wanted to create something. She used to say, I wanted to create a fresh perfume, like a fresh, clean laundry smell. And I think I love it because in Miami, where I live, there's a place where I pass with my bike. It smells really the fresh laundry smell. I love to smell in the streets fresh laundry. You know why? Because it's such a natural perfume. It's very natural. It's such refreshing when you pass in the street, okay? In the street, usually you smell, you know, this dirty, sometimes very dirty smell. And you smell like that, a very fresh, clean laundry smell. It's very elegant. By the way, it's very elegant. It's very natural. And sometimes in Italy, when you pass in Roma on some little streets, you smell this very fresh laundry smell. It reminds me of my grandma. It's very natural, very elegant. I think there's no more elegance than that actually. It's a very French clean laundry smell. It's so refreshing, it's so comforting, very comfortable. It reminds me of the summer in Italy, and I love it. I really love it. And for Coco Chanel, it was really the definition of elegance. It's this simple, fresh, clean laundry smell that you can't really replace it, because, you know, it's such a natural line, natural balance. It's such a comforting smell, actually, such a comforting smell, and it's really the definition of a good perfume for Coco Chanel. So let's smell this perfume. I'm gonna explain to you where I like to put this perfume, when I like to smell this one. So let's try on my arm actually. It's exactly that. It's a French laundry smell. This perfume is really interesting in a natural, even it's a synthetic flower, it's very interesting in linen actually. I really, I think, yeah, I like to wear this perfume on linen because it developed extremely well. There's a very strong sillage on linen. And linen, you know, it's a very good fabrics for that type of smell. You know, this type of soapy, fresh laundry smell. It's perfect for linen. It's such a refreshing perfume. I think number 5, it's a very good perfume for summertime. Extremely good one because it has a very strong sillage, very strong. It's not too loud. It's very refreshing because you have this very fresh soap smell, which was the purpose, like I said, it was the purpose of Coco Chanel. and it's a very elegant line, very super elegant. For me, this perfume is the most elegant perfume in the world because of the simplicity of the aldehyde and the fresh laundry smell. It's so simple, so elegant, and Coco Chanel used to say the most simple, the most elegant things in life are simple things. Simplicity is elegance. And it was really, you know, the motto of Chanel. Go to simple. Elegance is simplicity. It's not, you know, wearing 20 different type of things, 5 colors at the same times. Elegance is a simple line. It's simple. White, and Coco Chanel used to say, you know, the best things is just a very white shirt. A white shirt is simple, but it's extremely elegant. Extremely elegant. You don't need to go to fancy with a lot of ornament, lot of things. Go to simple. Simplicity is elegance. And this perfume is the most elegant perfume out there for me for that. So the first notes are very fresh. I'm gonna say I smell the ylang ylang, the aldehyde. So the aldehyde is very present in the first note. The neroli, the bergamot, the lemon. That's why it's a very nice perfume for summer, because you have these very fresh notes. And the middle note, you still have the aldehyde in the middle note. I smell the iris, the jasmine, the rose, the root, the lily of the valley. And I smell the aldehyde. The aldehyde is super present. And you know what? I'm gonna spray this perfume on my white linen shirt. I think it's perfect. It's perfect. If you wear white, this is the perfect perfume for white shirt, white linen shirt. And the base is a little bit more intense to give more depth in this perfume. Otherwise, if there's no depth, if there's no sillage for this one, because the notes are very refreshing, you know, aldehyde. So I smell the civet, the amber, the sandalwood, the musk. I smell a little bit of patchouli to give probably more intensity and more sillage to this perfume. My god. It smells so good. It's so elegant, so elegant. This is a perfect summer perfume. So usually I also wear this perfume day to day, night, day. It's the perfect elegant perfume because you can wear this perfume. There's no like particular time or event, or like, it's so simple, so elegant. So for me, this is really a good perfume. You can't beat number 5 by Chanel. And by the way, this is not a grand mass smell. For me, there's no grand mass smell at all. And the purpose of Chanel was really to create a creamy, soapy fresh laundry smell. So very elegant, and I will recommend this perfume to anyone who love elegance or love to be chic. There's no age for this one because this one is timeless. And even the smell, everybody wants to smell like a fresh laundry smell, white fresh laundry smell. So I love this perfume. I love it. Can't beat a number 5 by Chanel. Okay, and I'm gonna close this series of iconic perfume by a very interesting perfume that you probably don't heard about it, but it's such an iconic perfume because it was the first perfume of the house, first perfume created by the house. It became really an iconic one, favorite, also the favorite perfume of my aunt, by the way. So this one is Vert by Balmain. Vert by Balmain. Look at this beautiful bottle. I got a vintage bottle, which I'm very proud because the vintage bottle is so beautiful. I don't know why Balmain stopped. First, they made a reformulation of this perfume, and second, they changed the bottle. That's why I also love vintage perfume, because the vintage bottle are extremely beautiful, and they are nothing compared to the new regular bottle, because for probably cost, every time it's because of money, they want to make more money, so they just cut, they want to make some type of different bottle, less expensive bottle, whatever. Anyway, it's such a shame because the new bottle, Van Vert new bottle is not as beautiful as this one. Look at the bottle. Look at that. Look how beautiful is that. Look. Is it not beautiful? Okay. It looks like a green plant. It's such a beautiful with the cap, and the vintage big bottle is exactly like that. Exactly like that. It's very, very beautiful. I don't like, unfortunately, the new bottle of Van Vert by Balmain. They just, I think for like, I don't know, for money, for cost issue probably, they just make it new bottle. I just don't like it. And the first time I discovered this beautiful perfume was in Jacqueline Perfumerie. I talk a lot about this perfumery in my videos, but I think one day I'm gonna make a video just for this boutique. It's how I discover vintage perfume. It's because of Jacqueline Perfumerie in San Francisco, and it's because of André. Jacqueline Perfumerie was a French boutique, French perfume boutique in San Francisco. And I discovered this boutique randomly by just walking in the street. I saw this beautiful boutique outside with this beautiful big vintage bottle. So big vintage bottle meaning that bottle you can't find anymore. And I think there were a big bottle of champagne by Yves Saint Laurent, by the way. I will always remember. I passed once, I look at the boutique, I was like, oh my god, this is such a beautiful. It reminds me really of the boutique of Paris from the 70s, the 80s. It was so vintage. It reminds me of this boutique that you can't find this type of boutique anymore. Even in Paris, it does not exist. The French boutique, French perfume boutique are very different, very, very different. It was from an autre temps, it was from another time, another universe. So I just passed once, I was like, oh my god, and I saw this Jacqueline just by the name. And I continue, and I went back, I was like, I have to check this boutique. I have to check it, there's something I really, really like. And I enter and I saw this old guy named André with his big smile, and he was looking at me like that, very curious, with a curious regard, curious look on me. And I think he pretty see that I was French. I think he guessed right away I was French. And we had this special connection right away, and I used to spend hours in his boutique trying new perfume. It's how I became into really the vintage smell, because he showed me some perfume I never smelled in my life before. He showed me all the iconic one that you don't find anymore. So Jacqueline Perfumerie, I probably will make a video just to talk about this perfumery. Unfortunately, he closed the boutique in 2015, 2016. Unfortunately, he retired. He was very old even when I met him. He was old. And the first time he showed me this perfume. I asked him to show me perfume that I don't know, iconic one with green notes, because Van Vert means in English green wind, so you can tell it's a very green perfume. And he showed me the bottle, and I didn't purchase the bottle at that time, but I was in love with just by the bottle. So this perfume is really green. So if you like green notes, forest, dark wood notes, if you don't like sweet oriental or flower perfume, this perfume is for you. It's an iconic one because it was the first perfume created by Pierre Balmain. Same thing, I am in love of Balmain, but the vintage Balmain, not the new Balmain. I used also to buy a vintage Pierre Balmain jacket or vintage Pierre Balmain scarf, for example. Pierre Balmain also was a very, very iconic French fashion designer, artist. He has his style. The Pierre Balmain style is very, very iconic, very different. He also inspired a lot of French fashion designers. He was also a source of inspiration of Yves Saint Laurent, by the way. So he decided to launch his first in-house perfume, and he Vert was the first one. So this perfume has been created first in 1947. So it's a 40s perfume. So look at all these hits, how old is it? And it has been relaunched and reformulated in the 90s actually. First reformulation and first, you know, first reformulation in the 90s. And it's a very green, and it was also the favorite perfume of Colette. It was the favorite perfume of the French writer Colette. If you don't know her, she's also one of my favorite writers. I used to read a lot of Colette, and she used to say in French, il a un caractère vieux de végétal écrasé à la main, de quoi plaire à ces diablesses de femmes d'aujourd'hui. If I translate in English, it smells, so this perfume smells like a vegetable crushed by hand, something to please like those devils of women today. Okay, so she said that this perfume smells like green crushed by hands. Look, picture yourself when you were a kid. I used to do something like that. I used to take, I love to just take herbs in my hands like that and crush the herbs in my hands. It was something I used to do as a kid, and I think there's a lot of kids like that. We love to grasp hands, and when you grasp herbs, this smell, very characteristic smells. It's like fresh herbs, okay? So if you love this type of smell, you're gonna love Vert. You're gonna love this one. And she's right. It has this very dark fresh herb smell, very unique, very characteristic. And I think Pierre Balmain wanted to create also something very new, very different. And he didn't want to go to the traditional floral perfume. Don't remember, 1947. We are after this World War II. After World War II, it's been very tough in Europe, okay, very tough with the Nazi and everything. So he probably wanted to try to launch something very fresh, very modern, very light in some kind of, very light. So I got a vintage bottle. So this bottle is from the 90s actually. So as you can see just by the color, by the way, it's very yellow, intense yellow. I swear I smell the fresh herbs when you grasp the herbs in your hands, and you have this train of herbs and you smell it. It's like, it's a very French countryside smell. I love it. I love this smell. It's very fresh, very fresh. So you love green notes, you're gonna love this one. It's a very refreshing perfume. I know some women, I have friends that they just hate flowers, they hate very flowers or very sweet perfume, and they just go for green notes. So if you also love Chypre perfume, you're gonna love this type of smell. Yeah, it's a very fresh, very good perfume, very green. For me, it's one of the best green perfume you can find out there, and it's such a distinctive perfume that you don't smell this perfume often actually. It's very unique, very distinctive. So the top notes are very French. You smell the lime, the basil, the lemon, the neroli, the bergamot. So very refreshing. But because I got the vintage version, I smell more the base and the middle notes, and they are super intense, by the way. So I smell a little bit of lily of the valley, jasmine, marigold, rose, but the vintage version, the green notes are very more present, very depth, very intense actually. So I smell more the vetiver, the oak moss, the iris, the sage, the amber, the sandalwood. There's something very unique in this vintage version, by the way. I think this perfume, really wear very well his name. It's like a green wind. It's like I got a green wind in my face. Colette was more okay. She pictured more like, okay, I got these herbs in my hands, I crushed it and I smell these fresh notes. I had this wind also in my face because it's such an explosion of green notes, such an explosion of herbs. It's a beautiful perfume. I swear it's a beautiful green notes. I love this one. So I strongly suggest you to go to the vintage version first because the bottle is extremely beautiful. Extremely beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. You can't beat this type of vintage bottle. I'm so sorry, Balmain, but go back to the vintage bottle. Please go back to the vintage bottle. It's such a beautiful one. And second, I think the vintage smell also is much more interesting than the new reformulation because you're gonna see more green in-depth notes. So probably for that. I love this perfume. This is the most, I think the most well green, it's one of the best green perfume I ever smell, to be honest. I'm not such a fan usually because I love flowers, I prefer white flowers. But if I have to ever wear a green perfume, it's gonna be Vert by Balmain, for sure. Smells so good. Okay, that's it for today. That is for this series of the most iconic vintage perfume out there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're gonna find your new signature fragrance. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give me a lot of motivation to continue. Don't forget to leave a comment. Is there any perfume you already know you wear or one you want to try? You can also don't hesitate to give me some, some of the suggestions. I'm always happy to discover new perfume. So leave a comment below and I wish you a very pleasant day. And don't forget what Coco Chanel used to say. A woman without perfume has no future, so don't forget to wear perfume if you go out. Bye.